Hey guys, it's Christina Cimorelli. Welcome back to my second channel. Also, and Tristan. You probably know me from my main channel, Cimorelli, the band I'm in with my sisters. This is my... Oh, she just pooped really loud. I'm gonna have to go change that. This is my second channel where I talk about like my personal life, especially motherhood and pregnancy. I don't want that to explode. I'm gonna go change that. I'll be back in a second. Yikes. Anyway, today's video is everything that helped me have my Vbac, vaginal birth after a C-section, without an epidural and with a 10-pound giant baby. So let's get into it. So I made a video, which will be linked below, of everything I was doing to prepare for birth, and I never had a vaginal birth before. My last one was an emergency C-section. That's a crazy story. If you want to watch that one, I can link that one as well. And anyway, so I was just doing everything I possibly could to prepare, but I didn't know what was actually going to help because I've never done it before. But now I can tell you what helped me out. So I have the whole list of everything I did, and I said in the last video, if you want to watch that, it'll go more into depth about everything I did. And this is where I'll just talk about like, did it help kind of? But that one I'll talk probably more details in it, I believe I did. So that's linked below. Okay, so exercise. I exercised a lot and I talk about that. There's a whole video dedicated. I'll do that one linked as well. That I think was really helpful because I had the stamina to keep going for 20 hours and I needed that. And my core was so good after birth. Last time after my C-section, my core was like, I didn't really do any core work, that much core work at all. I did a little bit during my last pregnancy. So my stomach wasn't like that this time. I don't know. I don't think that fully had to do with the C-section either. It's because I actually worked on my core, but it is different having a C-section last time. But I wasn't sore, which a lot of people said they were really sore in their core after all the contractions. I was not sore. So I think the exercises I did were very helpful. I did pelvic floor physical therapy. I believe that was very helpful. That was helping with strengthening stuff as well. I think that was helpful. Spinning babies exercises. I don't know if it's just a website because it's a, I don't know what to call it, but a method, I don't know. But I did a bunch of spinning babies exercises and stretches and positions and stuff. And I think that helped a lot to get her into good position because she was in questionable positions at certain points. So I was really following that stuff and I think that helped a lot. Courses that I took. Yes, very helpful. So I took the Vbac link course. That's great if you are having a Vbac. Even if you're not, it's great. I suggest taking it as soon as you possibly can. Like, it's really helpful for early in pregnancy as well. I took it later. I'm like, man, I could have used some of this earlier. So I would take that as soon as possible. And then I did the Positive Birth Company hypnobirthing course. That was so helpful. Oh my gosh. The Christian hypnobirthing app has a course as well. That was very helpful. And Mighty Mama Movement Practically Pain-Free Birth course. I don't know if I said it right. I'll write what it's really called if that's wrong. I linked that. I might have an affiliate link for that, so I will link that one. I found all those courses to be helpful. Very, very helpful to learn as much as you possibly can before. I mean, at least for me. Just knowing as much as I did really helped. Along the same lines, the Vbac link podcast. I think that was the single most helpful thing of everything. I listened to almost every single episode. I think it's like 180 or something. I listened to almost every single episode, and some of them I listened to multiple times because I started over and did like a bunch of them twice in a row, or a bunch of them I listened to twice. And that helped me so much because I had over that plus reading birth stories. I had hundreds of birth stories in my mind, and that helped me so much because I wasn't worried like, oh no, am I not progressing fast enough? Because I knew how different stories can be and how birth can change, or how your labor can change in like a second. So I knew there were so many variations of normal and healthy and okay and everything. And I don't know, that just gave me so much confidence. I learned so much from the Vbac Link podcast. I can't recommend it enough. I will definitely link that. Chiropractor. I can't say for sure this helped. I mean, how would I know? But I do think it helped a lot, but I don't know if it did for sure, but I think it did. Massage therapist. This helped me so much because I was in so much pain. My, oh my gosh, what were they called? Okay, sciatic nerve pain, and then I forgot the other pain, and I was saying it all the time. What was it? But I had this amazing massage therapist who helped me out with one session, and then I had to stop sitting with one leg bent, and that helped so much with the pain. So I do believe that helped with labor. I don't know, but I think it did. I did red raspberry leaf tea and dates. I have no idea if it helped, but I enjoyed doing it. And I loved the dates with peanut butter. That was really good. And I loved the tea. I was like addicted to the tea. I don't know if it helped, but I liked it. Learning about the pelvis was very helpful for me. There was several accounts on Instagram that I was following, that I was learning all this different stuff. And that's where I learned about like, when you're on your back, when you're on your back, how it closes off your pelvis, or like the opening for the baby to come out by, I don't remember what percentage, like 30% or 20% or something like that. And so I knew I didn't want to give birth on my back unless somehow my body was really telling me that's what I needed to do. I knew that's not what I wanted, because I had a suspicion I might have a huge baby, which I did. And so I wanted to have the maximum amount of opening, which means baby in a good position, because if she was like sunny side up, apparently from my understanding, the like biggest part of her head can be at like the smaller part of the pelvis, which is like, can get stuck. Not always, of course, but I just didn't want to take any chances, so I wanted to like try to get her in the best position and try to get me in the best position. That was one of the reasons I didn't want an epidural, because I just wanted to like really be able to tune in my body and be like, what's my body telling me to do? I don't want to be stuck in or like limited to any positions, which apparently you can get like less of a dose of an epidural and be able to move around more. But I had asked my doula about that, and she said in all the births she had attended in this area, she had seen moms like ask for that, and she'd never seen the anesthesiologist actually deliver that, which I know it exists because I know some people who have done that, but she had never seen it. So I was like a little nervous, like what if that got screwed up? So anyway, that's part of why I didn't want the epidural, which I go into that. I talk about those reasons more in my Q&A about this birth video, which is coming out either before this video or after this video. So you can watch that if you're more interested in why I didn't want the epidural. Okay, and then the books. Ina May's Guide to Childbirth, that was called. I read a bunch of that, of course, classic. That was very helpful in just like painting birth in a positive light and like empowering and then educating me. And then a hypnobirthing book. I'll link it below because I can't remember which one it's called. But I read that one last time too, and it was really helpful for my mindset, and also it gave me this like balloon visualization thing that I use, which I'll tell you. So what I was picturing and what I was thinking during labor and during the contractions and in between the contractions was so key, because it was such a mental battle. So there was one visualization, it's like a hot air balloon, but I was just picturing a normal balloon filling up on the inhale and then kind of like floating away on the exhale. And you picture that in the first, in the earlier labor, which my early labor was really long. I think it was like 17 or 16 hours. And then my like active labor was like 3 to 4 hours. So I was picturing that a lot. And then I was picturing like, I was trying to picture my contraction peaking, but it kept double peaking. So that was really annoying. So I'd be like, it peaked. Ah, no, it didn't. It, again, whatever. So that was kind of annoying. But I just had to like continually bring myself back, which is something I learned from the Positive Birth Company hypnobirthing course. They were saying, I think that's the one, they were saying like a stoplight, like red, green, yellow. If you're starting to get to like a red place, like and like freaking out, you need to bring yourself back, yellow, green, like calm. I think that's how they explained it. That's in one of my parenting books as well. It's like, if you start to lose it in between contractions, bring yourself back from losing it, because if you're losing it and then you have a contraction, then you lose it more and then it builds on itself. Apparently that will add to your pain. Learning about pain was Bear's down there, yelling with the babysitter. Learning about pain was so key. I listened to this amazing podcast on pain that was just wild, of this woman who like researches pain. I don't know if I can find it to link it below. I can't remember what it was called. It was so wild. And it was really interesting to learn about pain and how much your mind plays a role in pain, and how much you can increase the painful experience in labor with anxiety and tension, fear, all this, or not, depending on what you do with your mind, what you think. And that it sucks because it's really like a touchy subject because people get really mad about epidurals. I don't know exactly why they get so mad, but people get really mad. People got mad at me for not using it. Like, what? How does that affect you? It doesn't. But I mean, I got some angry like messages about me not using it. So very strange. But people get really weird about epidurals and weird about pain in childbirth. It's very touchy. What I learned really empowered me to be able to like try to take charge of my experience and be like, okay, what can I do with my mind? How can I use my mind in the best way possible? So learning about pain and childbirth, very important, like the physiological process of everything and the hormones and how pain works and happens and everything. I'm telling you, that pain, it was like a pain researcher or something like that. It was something wild like that. That podcast was so helpful. So learning about that was very helpful for me because it empowered me. Nick doing counter pressure and like massaging me and helping me like relax in between contractions was key. He did counter pressure on almost every single contraction besides when I was in the shower. Every single one, he did counter pressure for hours. That was really helpful. So did my doula as well, which we'll get to that. The shower. At a certain point in labor, it was really helpful, and then it stopped being as effective, which sucked. But at a certain point, it like really took the edge off, which was amazing. By the way, in my Q&A, I talk about like the pain, how bad it was, blah, 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 all that stuff. There's some really good questions in my Q&A video. I would suggest watching that as well. Having a doula. Oh my gosh, she saved me. I don't know if I would have been able to do it without the epidural, without her. It was really helpful. It was so helpful having a doula. Like, she seriously came in there and just like changed everything. Like, as soon as she came in, it was such a relief. She was like an epidural basically. So helpful. So I can't recommend having an amazing doula. Like, they have to be good, obviously. I can't recommend having an amazing doula enough. Like, so helpful, invaluable to me. The nitrous, which is like laughing gas, that was so helpful for me. It doesn't interfere with the physiological process of birth, which is important to me. It was so helpful for me. Oh my gosh, like such a game changer. I definitely want that next time. It really took my anxiety down so much, and it doesn't really take the pain away at all. It just takes, for me, my anxiety down. It helped so much. That was a game changer for me. Loved it. The peanut ball. I ended up pushing with my arms on the peanut ball, well, and just laboring there with contractions for like 2 or 3 hours I spent on the peanut ball. Loved it. My doula came in and she like set the scene. I talked about this in the birth story video, and she put up the peanut ball and then she lowered like the leg part of the hospital bed. So I had like my knees on there and then my arms up on the peanut ball, and she put a sheet up on the peanut ball to make it more like soft, comfy, so it wasn't just like on the rubber. That was really helpful. And then music, I only listened to 3 songs. I listened to Gyra, the normal version, and then I listened to 2 of our covers, which was King of My Heart and Waymaker. I listened to those like the whole time, or I listened to the Christian Hypnobirthing app. One of those I was listening to the whole time, and they really helped me. And it's just called Christian Hypnobirthing. I think it's a really simple name. And then combs. Have you heard of people holding combs during labor? It's a scientific thing. Once again, I don't remember what it's called, but it's where like you have like pain receptors picking up the pain of you squeezing the comb, and it like changes the pain that you feel. I don't know how to explain it. But I did enjoy holding combs during labor. I did that for a lot of my labor, like a couple hours at least, several hours I did the combs. I did enjoy those. I think that's about everything I found helpful. It's such a mental game, and so much of the stuff that I had to like go up against in my head and like fight was stuff from other people, like negative stuff from other people about birth, or like, oh, you're gonna be begging for the epidural, and some people say like that, it's gonna be the worst pain you've ever felt, this, that, and the other thing. And just describing it as such a negative experience, and like guaranteeing that I will have a negative experience, which you don't know just because you had a bad one doesn't mean I will. Like, I had a horrible C-section experience, and a lot of people have great, sometimes even healing C-section experiences. That's why I'm basically always mention my C-section, that mine was particularly bad, it doesn't mean yours will be bad, and you could have a great experience healing. Mine was just particularly bad just for certain reasons, but that doesn't mean yours is going to be horrible or you need to fear it and think it's the worst thing that could ever happen to you. But for me and my life, I did not want another C-section, and for my like plans with future children and whatnot, I did not want another C-section. So it really meant a lot to me to get this vaginal birth. For future births as well, it really meant a lot because I want more than 2 kids. So it really is just all mental. And once again, you don't need to be, I said this in the birth story video, which I will link that below as well. You should definitely watch that if you haven't, of this birth, that you don't have to be this like calm Zen person to have a vaginal birth without an epidural. I was thinking that because I felt like a lot of these videos I would watch, it'd be like this girl who seemed like so different from me, or a woman, this woman who seems so different from me, who's like so calm and zen and everything. I'm like, I am not like that, and I don't have like this crazy pain tolerance either. So I kind of didn't really feel like hopeful in some ways going into birth. In some ways I did, in some ways I did not. But I'm telling you, you don't need to be this zen calm person who has a great, incredible pain tolerance to do this. You just need to really want it and to prepare as best you can and have your mind in the right place to know that your body's made to this and you can handle it. You can handle it. The bottom line is you can. A lot of women have had to have a birth epidural against their own wishes because they were too late or for whatever reason they couldn't get an epidural. So, or it didn't work. So, and they still make it. It's definitely possible. It's just like you don't want to go through like horrifying suffering of the worst thing ever, right? Which is not what I experienced. I did not experience horrifying suffering, worst pain, worst experience of my life, wanted to die. I did not experience that. I didn't even think about the epidural once we got past a certain point, like 5-6 centimeters. I didn't even think about the epidural again. So, I mean, I'm not saying it was easy. It was definitely the hardest or one of the hardest things I've ever done in my entire life. See, it's tough because some of the moments of my postpartum experience with Barrett might have been harder than that. I want to say were harder than that mentally on me. And almost physically, but not quite. But it's just the mental aspect. So I'm here to say you can do this if that's what you want. Don't let anyone get you down or make you feel like you're not equipped for this or you won't be able to handle this because blah, 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 blah. The bottom line is you can handle this. If this is what you want, you can. And we need to stop bringing people down for their birth plans, period. And being so touchy about it. It's so weird. It's like, I mean, there aren't that many women who don't get the epidural. I think the percentage, I can't remember what it is, but it's the minority. So it's not like there are that many of them running around hating everyone who gets the epidural or something. There's a lot more women who get the epidural than who don't. And a lot of, I don't know what it is, but a lot of them hate on women who don't get it. And they're like, you don't get a trophy for that. Like, I'm not trying to get a trophy. I'm just trying to do what I think is best for this birth based on my research and what I'm going for with future births and blah, 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 blah. And yeah, it's just so weird. We don't need to shame anyone for getting epidural or not getting it. Can't we all just make our decisions and just zip it? That would be nice, you know? So anyway, if someone's getting you down about your birth choices, they need to knock it off. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up. I am linking a lot of stuff below, so good luck with all those links. And let me know what other videos you guys want me to make. I could talk so much about this, and I look forward to talking a lot about it. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.